tonight on LFG.
All the damn work I put in with you.
Lufisto.
What can you do with this person who's new so they look good, you look good, and everybody's safe?
Might as well put him in a black leather jacket and a black hat.
Jeff Lippman.
It looked like she was too slow for school, but she came out playing the hot mean girl.
That looked really good.
Burn it down! Burn it down! No kings! No clowns! Burn it down! Burn it down! Tear the whole thing to the ground!
Boil them, fry them, put them in a stew. Boil them, fry them, put them in a stew. Boil them, fry them, put in a stew. And push BJ down the stairs.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is LFG, Season 2, Episode 9. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, apparently. Yes, that's what they say. That's what it was about this week with contestants that were not chosen last week. How are you, my dear Jeff?
I'm doing fine, my dear Lufisto. And I see Leposto is there again also, so that's fantastic. The whole
One of them.
One of them. They're all Leposto. it's like Elvianos. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, it's episode 9. The second half is underway, and as I've come to understand it, this is the Lufisto show, and I'm like the Brian Last to your Jim Cornette, or maybe the Stat Guy Greg to your Peter Rosenberg. Whichever you prefer.
Is it? Who said that?
I think the analogy is mine, but it's this is definitely you're definitely the star of the show. I'm the sidekick, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
Oh, if I'm the Jim Cornette and you're the Brian Last, I mean it's a great team and they get a lot of listeners. So I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, I'm not a listener to go, but I know Jim Cornette. I'm a fan of Jim Cornette's for many, many years, and I know who Brian Last's name is. So hey, I'll take. I've heard of him. Maybe now he's heard of me after this.
Hey, I guess we're done then. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.
That's all, folks.
That's actually what I want to tell BJ, but it is what it is. I mean, this week was all about, and which was interesting to me, it was all about the people that were not chosen as top men and women last week. So pretty much everybody we didn't see. And some of them we haven't seen for a while. Tatyanna. And here's the thing. Well, first of all, let's start with that. We know what happened to Elijah. Elijah Holyfield is now out completely of season 2. He has a torn bicep. And it's funny because we were talking about it last week. You know, how was he reacting to that? And what was his mindset? And was he kind of down or more like, I'll get through this and I'll make it back? And well, I'm not surprised to say that it's, exactly what it is. He says, like, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to, work on my injury and come back better and stronger. So, I love what I saw from Elijah so far. So I can't wait to have him back. And I hope he heals, well, without any problems, fast. And hopefully we can see him in LFG season 3 if they decide that there's a season 3.
Yeah. I was very happy to get a full report on Elijah and actually to see Elijah basically cut the promo, speak candidly, whatever it was, in exactly the vein that we both wanted to hear. So great. And it was actually sort of like almost like a joyous, almost like an emotional moment of bonding between Bubba and Elijah.
There's an old saying, it ain't ballet. I was genuinely heartbroken for you, and I don't do feelings. I was enjoying your coming out so much this season. To see you become the Elijah Holyfield that you wanted to be, I was like, oh yeah.
Where Bubba's like, I'm heartbroken for you, but why is your shirt on? And he's like, well, I've got this brace on my, he's like, take your shirt off. So he's just like, you're too sexy, man. Take your shirt. You're too sexy for your shirt. And that was actually, for Bubba, who said he doesn't do feelings. And listen, I pretend I don't do feelings either. So I know that he does somewhere inside. He's better at hiding it than I am for sure. But that was sweet. Now, Tatyanna, on the other hand, she's back. And of course, they give us a very detailed explanation about what her injury was, what the recovery was, what happened, what went wrong. No, nothing, not a darn thing about it.
That never happened. We imagined it. We probably drank too much alcohol that day. We were on drugs. Pick a reason that didn't happen. And here's one thing we saw though. Harlem was thinking about his discussion with Booker T, and to the point, he says he didn't sleep. And he's very focused now on his new target, which is a Shiloh Hill. He says everything is earned and not deserved. I'll take him somewhere where he don't want to go. And here's something really funny. They say it's early morning at the PC, and then we see him leave. It's like very dark. So I'm like, either they messed it up and, they filmed the car part at night, or it was so early, actually so early, that it was still dark outside when Harlem was at the gym, which would explain, the fact he didn't sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, gets up, goes to the gym, and then it's still dark. He's thinking about Booker T. That's how he spends his night.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have to be back till 4 o'clock the next day. Maybe he had the day off, or just training, or just the ice bath, or whatever, therapy, whatnot. There was one other part, and then I definitely want to go back to this, because the things you said, I mean, basically you're stealing the questions I had typed for you. And we did hear Dani also say that the taker challenges her, and actually we heard takers to get a little bit meaner and bring out that little evil. So that's fine. And that was pushed all week. But yeah, Harlem was finishing his workout, as you said, and he's pondering his talk with Booker, and he doesn't seem any happier, and he's angry at the guy who's doing the interview. The camera is like, okay, we're done here. It was a little aggressive. And as you pointed out, first of all, I'm like, Lou, does Harlem seem to be a little bit in his own head? And before I have a chance to hit question mark, he says what you just said about Shiloh, which is, why is he projecting on Shiloh? Doesn't it seem a little hasty? I mean, isn't it like, wasn't that Anthony Luke that was the guy that was like, in front of him for? It's like if he can't defeat someone, he's going for another target. I just want to know, where is his head at? I mean, it does seem like projection. It seems like unfocused projection, which is probably better than focused projection, I suppose, now that I think about it. But does he seem like he's in his own head? And where's his head at? Which is basically the same question in two different ways, isn't it?
It's strange because it feels like he's trying to find a reason why he's not moving forward as fast as he thought he would be. So, it's because of Booker T. Like he's stopping me from being who I should be. And then has a talk with Booker T, kind of figures out, Booker T is here to help me, so it's not him. So, you know what? It's The Undertaker keeps saying, like, the runner-up, Shiloh, he's the one to beat. He's the one to beat. Well, no, I'm better than him, so he's my target now. It's like he has so much frustration in it, and he has this intense personality, but he's trying to focus his hate on someone in particular instead of fixing whatever is wrong with him. Like, I honestly felt that the car thing kind of looked like extra fake. Like, are we done here? Are we done here? I was like, was that necessary? But I mean, if it's a thing he does regularly and they just like wanted to kind of put it on TV to give us an idea of his overall way of acting and talking and reacting to stuff, I'm like,
This is the thing. I almost feel, I'm not going to do it, but I almost feel compelled to look into his athletic background, because I remember involved, they mentioned that he was like the leading tackler for an Italian football league, an Italian American football league, like North American football, which is swell. But what I don't know is, did he get kicked out of a Division I college, or did he not make it to the NFL just because he wasn't good enough, or were there disciplinary issues? Were there like the anger management issues he's talked about in the past? Is that what kept him from not making it to the next levels here, or was it just that he just wasn't good enough for the NFL, or what? And he took a paying job with the Italian Football League, and then he would go to the Mexican League and the Chinese League, and they all have professional North American football leagues, and where, you could work, 3, full-time jobs for 12 weeks, and I guess that's your year. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to do it. Maybe somebody who's listening knows more about it, knows where he went to college, if he went to college, and things like that, and find out if there's time. But I think this is how he was in Evolve, which, everyone says you take yourself and you turn it up to 11. That's wrestling. Maybe he's already a 10.5. And maybe his problem is that he doesn't have like a 5. And maybe he needs to find his 5. He's already got his 11. Maybe he just needs to find his 5. I'm not sure. I'm obviously not a psychologist. I was a psych minor. I went to college in 86 to 90. So I'm sure everything that was taught to me then has been discredited by now. I mean, I think back then we thought that the brain was in the gallbladder. So, I don't know. But I don't know. Targeting Shiloh, I get it. He's the top dog now, but bro, you got 1 point. You haven't been beating anyone. Your coach is on you. Okay, going after the top dog is admirable, but he's not even really a top dog. I mean, he's like no one in the points at the end. Like 2 guys have 2 points, and one of them was Elijah. So he's a. By the way, another question. Last year, BJ Ray got injured, and they replaced him with Cutler James, who's now in Dark State. Are they going to replace BJ, or are we just going to go with Bubba having a 3-person team that was completely left silent?
You mean replacing Elijah?
I'm sorry, yes.
I mean, it would make sense, because do you want to see BJ every episode? And honestly, is it fair to Bubba? No, it's not, because BJ's not a top player, first of all. And to just finish on Harlem, it goes back to what we say. It's like we don't know enough about these people to kind of understand why they are the way they are. We had a glimpse of Harlem and something being wrong with his mom like 5-6 episodes ago, and nothing else. And then this happens, and he's got anger management issues. And here we are. Now he's targeting Shiloh. And why, when, what?
And he's so
no answer.
I mean, unless you're like Andrew Tate and in the manosphere, he's unlikable. So, I mean, that's another thing without doing reality television, without focusing that much on the people and their character, not their characters, their real lives.
Mm-hmm.
We need to like that. They're not all likable. Some of them might be likable, but they don't have animated personalities. I mean, we need to know a little bit about them. And it's like, who told them they need to have 2 seasons within 5 months of 12 weeks? Like, why not make it 15 or 16 weeks and get to know the people a little bit more, and maybe actually just do, I mean, at this rate, they'll have 4 seasons in 1 year if they really want to. I mean, I know these people are really training and they're on a timetable and they want to get them, advanced, but I feel like they want to get them all advanced, and that sort of defeats the premise of the show. I mean, the purpose is some advance and some don't. We understand some get a second choice, a chance, maybe even a third, but I don't know. Speaking of people getting, Tatyanna and Booker have a hard talk. Frankly, we got no information from this. All we got from Booker is that you've got to prove a lot to me. You've got to prove a lot to everyone. You got to prove a lot to
Tatyanna, the veteran. That's how they refer to her.
Yes, I guess because she won season 2 and made it to 2 episodes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this talk was unsatisfactory. I mean, at least the one between Booker and Harlem, we got at the heart of the matter. We didn't get the details that we wanted. We didn't get the emotion that we wanted, but we got the heart of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Tatyanna Booker was nothing. It was like 2 lines. I mean, I felt like I got more insight into Michelle McCool when she was fine-tuning Summer's character and like using, show a little sass and whatever. Like, I'm starting to like, we both said we're starting to like Michelle more week in, week in. I'm starting to understand her style and see how she's relating to, her team and how she's invested in them and how they like her. Not like I want to say den mother, but that's not right. Like a coach, but a coach that they like. Like we used to have a coach. He was better in Indianapolis than Baltimore, but a guy named Ted Marchibroda, and he was more the likable type of coach than the Belichick, Bill Parcells kind of coach that you either loved him or hated him. I don't know, but I felt like I got more insight into their relationship than I did with Booker and Tatyanna. Maybe there is none. Maybe I understood it perfectly right that they have.
So Tatyanna has to show heart. Summer, that's what Michelle tells her. Like she has a lot of presence, but she has to use it not only in her entrance, she has to use it in the ring as well while she's wrestling. So, and here, something really interesting that happened here also is Summer's mentioning how stiff Tatyanna is, that she can't remember anything once she's in the ring. And it's like twice we hear that. So that was something interesting that I made sure to look within the match if I could see like spots when it happened, and it did. So actually they were the first match. And what was impressive to me was they were in front of a crowd with their coaches, Michelle and Booker.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was kind of a main event first match.
But I want to talk a little bit about this because she did mention that conversation with Summer and Tatyanna, but Tatyanna again sort of interrupted Summer's promo time and started shit talking her and basically trying to intimidate her and say, "Oh, are you going to remember the match? I'm the veteran. I'm the one that's following it. I know the match. Are you going to make me look good at it?" And like, good for Summer, but she stood her ground and she's like, "Who's going to remember their spots? I'll remember mine. Where have you been? You got injured. You haven't been." So good for Summer for standing down. But this is Tatyanna. Remember I told you at the beginning that she was like sort of a bully. Like last year she blamed Tyra May Steele for everything. And you're blaming the Olympic gold medalist, who, by the way, already was on PLE on NXT, so, who's laughing now? But then she was sort of on someone else. I think it was Xena, but I'm not even sure, but whatever it is, it's like, she's always like pecking. I mean, it's a little bit like Harlem, except Harlem's like, he says it to the camera and then he's aggressive in the ring. I mean, but he doesn't shit talk them. He's not like trying to get in their head like the whole time. Like she's always trying to get in their head the whole time. Like Seth Rollins' character. She's always like talking. He like, if they talk and they're agenting the match and he disagrees, yeah, like Harlem will get into we'll get chippy about it. But he's not like always in the background, like sort of being a nuisance.
You mean like a visionary? In the background lurking.
I can almost see the high heels.
And the puffy shirt.
Yes, the clown outfit, absolutely.
By the way, did you notice that they said like we had to prepare, like we prepared this match all day, and that made me wonder, like, how long do they have to prepare a match? Each and every time, because usually you go to the show, you might have a few minutes, tops an hour, you get ready, you go sell merch or whatever. But then they were like all day. And that got me wondered, how long is that? Is that like 5 hours? 2 hours? What's a day in the life of an LFG contestant? And I was like, if they work all day on a match and they've been there, especially like Tatyanna, you know about how long they've been there more than me. I can't remember for Summer. I think she was there the last time, right? Was she? Or she's one of the new ones?
She was not on LFG, but she was on Evolve from episode.
Okay, yeah. I was like, I knew she was somewhere, but I sometimes like confuse the two. But I was like, you know what? If it takes all day to prepare a match and you've been there, again, it's not like someone who wrestles only on weekends. It's like that's their everyday job, and that's what they do. Is like all day. Is like, I don't know. It's like I would love to see what they're learning within a day. These are all questions that I'm really interested in, and I have no answer, unfortunately. That would make
There's got to be a friendly Canadian somewhere there you can reach out to. But like this is I can add nothing to, because the only match agent I know about is the legendary Macho Man, Ricky Stamlitz. So we're Macho Man basically like
He showed up with a
storyboards, like he had it all animated out in a moving picture frame, so you could see it frame by frame. So so one extreme to the other. But yeah, I mean,
what a match though.
I am aware, like at the indies, that like, a lot of times the bookers are going to say, hey, it's like 7 minutes bell time. Okay, we're going to do a death match. Don't do this. And then you guys have 5 minutes to clean this up. And I'm going to go over and all of you throw, do this and whatever. So I know that happens, but I have no idea how long they have. Whatever it is, whatever this means, I'll allow them to have more time because they are all rookies and whatnot. So I get it, but it is interesting to find out how much time, how much rehearsal, how many different matches do they have? Because some of them look like they're strangely the same, and sometimes they're even on the same show, but based on the clothing the judges wear, we know that they sort of mix up things for, I guess, entertainment value and not continuity value. So, who knows? Maybe it's, maybe if we look back and cross-reference all the matches, we'd find that there's only like 5 matches total. I'm not doing that. You're not doing it, but maybe somebody will. Somebody out there will. I mean, we know wrestling fans. There's some neurodivergence out there. Somebody's going to do it, and they're going to do an excellent job with it.
So Dumas is a face. She goes out, goes with the famous "come on," gets the crowd going. Summer going out as a heel, same kind of entrance. I like the beginnings.
She came out.
I saw her as a face. Yeah. Well, the look, the makeup is very heel.
She was doing a little the Crawley thing, a little bit of the Wendy Chu, creepy Crawley, almost like when Trill comes out. Okay, if that's, listen, one of the questions I have for you, I'm going to go back to it later. So, okay, let's just stick with Tatyanna comes out. Summer absolutely came out like a heel, cocky hop. Mm-hmm. That was, well done.
And the start was very also cocky, kind of ducking the lockup and going the ropes, kind of being a little chicken. And here's something very interesting. They go into the lockup and Tatyanna grabs an arm and it's the wrong arm. And right from start, I'm like, is she wrestling Mexican style? But then you hear, one of the judges like, that's the wrong arm. Good thing though, she switched. Sometimes you do get into an arm bar and then your position is weird. So you grab one to, kind of reverse into the next one rapidly so you can actually work on the good arm, which is the left arm in North American wrestling.
Because I heard Booker and Michelle talking, and he goes, that's the wrong side. And she goes, yeah. And Michelle's, I couldn't hear what she said, but it was basically in assent. And then Booker says, it's the wrong side again. And, and yeah, I didn't know, so was this Tatyanna or Summer who grabbed her arm?
No, that arm bar was Tatyanna.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. I forgot her spots right from the beginning.
One thing that I liked about Summer this time is you could see that she was talking a lot. And that's where I'm like, okay, she's talking to Tatyanna a lot. She's lost. She's calling her the spots. You could clearly see it. You're like, okay, someone's lost. And I feel like while she had her in the headlock, you could clearly see her like, hey, that's where we're at. And they kind of got back into it. Like they had a nice, they did a hope spot pin and then a cutoff again. And I would say the comeback was really cool. Like Summer had Tatyanna in a hold. They worked the crowd up, work into a jawbreaker and then a few bumps. And that's where everything went like, whoops, something happened again. Everything slowed down, and that's where, and the way they look at each other, it's like, okay, somebody's lost again. You clearly see it because they're in the comeback. Fire, boom, boom, boom. And then it completely changes. And Summer kind of went out of the ring and then came back, feet on the rope, 1, 2, 3. I was like, okay. So that was that.
Well,
Yep.
Let me say what I loved. I loved the sequence when Summer repeatedly slammed Tatyanna's head into the mat over and over. That was great heel work.
Yeah.
And not because I metaphorically wanted to do it. Obviously, I did not know who made the mistake. I did find it very hard to root for Tatyanna as a face coming back when she doesn't seem like a face to me. I mean, of all the ironies, the things I said earlier is that you'd like to get to know these people a little bit more as a person. The only one like I feel like I'm getting to know outside of the ring or outside of the mat. I mean, there's a couple, but Tatyanna's one of them. And what I've gotten to know, I don't like, which is, not a great thing. But you said someone got lost, and Book said that too. He said, "Oop, they got lost," and then Michelle says, "Wasn't that supposed to be a rollover?" And supposed to be... So who got lost? I mean, I'm gonna guess that by Summer going out of the ring, she was trying to regroup, but maybe just to reset the match. Or was she the one that was lost? Was Tatyanna lost? Do we have any idea?
No, I really feel it was Tatyanna twice, like I mentioned before. You clearly see, as Summer has her in a headlock, you see her talk to Tatyanna for a while. Like, Summer had great like heel character, kind of the whole match, cheating, jaw-jacking, arguing the referee. I think for her, like it was a good night, like being a heel, let's say it this way. But the comeback is supposed to be, like I said, like House of Fire, boom, 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 try to go for a pin. And then, you slowly go through your go home sequence. And instead of, kind of having things go fast or up and down and being exciting and have like what we call falsies, where there's one pin close for one and then there's one for the others, like who's gonna win. Everything went like when Tatyanna was up, when she was having control of the match as a babyface doing her comeback, and then suddenly it kind of stopped. That tells me that she didn't know what she needed to do next. So probably like, yeah, at one point Summer just like rolled out and said whatever. Probably maybe it was planned just so she rolls in to be close to the ropes. So it's, easier to put the feet on the rope while the referee is on the other side, so he doesn't see what's going on. But yeah, just the fact that the rhythm of the match kind of stopped, that tells me that she was lost. She forgot the next spot she had to do after the bump and feed comeback.
Yeah, the finish was well done, but it was abrupt, and it probably would have been more impactful if the match was done correctly. Instead, we sort of got something that was just out of the blue. Now, I have a theory as to why we did not hear the coaches speak more about what had happened and what went wrong. And that theory is that, for whatever reason or reasons, they've already invested enough in Tatyanna to put her on live shows, and so they don't want to bury her on national TV while she's on these mini tours or well, I guess tours, these shows that NXT is doing, which I guess makes sense. But listen, unless she's improved a lot, and maybe she has, it's entirely possible. I don't know what she's doing there. Anyway, at the end, we see Summer cut a promo. Basically, she says,
look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Tatyanna and I are on the same level, because we're clearly not. You want fake, friendly, go watch a Disney movie, because I'm not here to be relatable. I'm here to be remembered. I'm not going to downplay the fact that I'm simply better than her, and I'm going to be better than everyone else in this competition. The message I sent tonight is that I'm just better than you. All of you.
I'm not relatable. This isn't a Disney movie. I'm here to show you that I'm better than everyone here. I'm better than you. A little bit like your enemy there.
Better than all of you. I like the line where she said, I don't want to be relatable. I want to be memorable. That was a great line. Shirt. I think, considering one of them got lost, the match wasn't bad. Like, they did well considering the loss. And it was great work from Summer to take the time and stop and try to lead the match, get the match back, tell Tatyanna where they were and, keep going. And instead of just freezing and nothing happening, like at least something was, they kept moving. It was not like two people stopped deer in the headlight kind of things that looks absolutely terrible. maybe the people in the crowd didn't even notice, but since we're really watching the match, not as fans, but more to analyze it, like I'll stop on those details. But did people in the crowd really care? Probably not.
Well, I'm not going to stop in those details because I think the nurture in you is coming out, that it runs a federation, runs a promotion, and is trying to encourage the talent as instinct. And I think that's lovely. This was a bad match. And I think the only reason it didn't stand out as a bad match is because 3 of the matches were bad to okay. There was only one good match, and I'm not even sure the match was good, but the people performed well, and we'll get to that. But bad, I think it was a bad match, but I'm not saying it was the worst match, and it certainly wasn't the worst.
It was okay. Like I've seen a lot worse. I've seen. Oh God, yeah.
And despite
and
everything,
it's coming.
yeah, despite everything we said about Tatyanna, we saw a worse performance tonight, but not yet, because we see Michelle with Trill, and again, just Michelle has this connection. She knows these people. She knows the people on her team. She gets. I mean, I don't know what we're not seeing, but the essence, the little bit they give us, it's like
she has patience. That's something we can see. She takes the time to analyze the people she's working with. I think she knows what make them tick, meaning like she knows what to say to be encouraging, supportive. She always does like their mannerism and they're kind of like not their logos, but they're like brand kind of thing. Like she knows every single little things they do, and she do it at the same time. So to me, that shows a very motherly kind of coaching. And sometimes like these people, they're kids. So of course, if you have someone who's nurturing, takes the time to listen to you, gives you, comments without screaming or whatever. And when I feel that she's the kind of coach that when she sees you're not comfortable doing something, she'll find a way to work around it so you're well in whatever you do. That's how I feel Michelle works, just by looking at her, the way she talks, and the way also her, I was going to say her contestants, but her students are talking, listening, and they I feel they're really appreciative of every little thing she does.
Yeah, I feel like they value the time. And I listen, Mickie James, if you're listening, you're one of my favorites. I know I'm not one of your favorites, but most of the season I've been like, I want a Mickie James. I did. But at this point, I have to say, I'm okay with Michelle McCool here. And I actually think she might be a better coach, because I think Mickie was more of the supporter, the nurturer, and Michelle was more of the coach. And somehow Michelle manages to be both at the same time, which is something I don't think that can be taught. Anyway, she's with Trill, and she's like, and basically the story with Trill is, you just got to find Trill. And she's like, I love that smile. And the smile, she goes, there it is. She goes, you don't need to do anything except be Trill. And he's like, say less. I got it. That's what.
Less is more. Less is more.
Conversely, we see we see either the most artificial, scripted, silly, oxymoronic conversation we've ever seen, or these two people have the most strained relationship on TV without it being interesting at all, and that is Bubba and BJ. But I wanted to let you go back to what you were going to say, probably with
Bubba, that episode like had so many great quotes. I was like, here's one that I really loved, and he says, fake has become the new real. I'm like, this is so true. People will do whatever, say whatever to be loved, to be, somebody on the internet, get the likes and stuff. It's like, the filters and everything is so fake, like that. It's the new real. It's so true. And in wrestling as well. So, BJ's asking to be a heel. So Bubba asked him, do you think there is money in having you as a heel? Which is a very important question. Is there money with you being a heel more than being a babyface? BJ says yes. And Bubba goes on saying, Trill is a lovable, high-flying babyface. If you can't be a heel with Trill, there's something wrong with you. I was like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like we've been saying it, like for me, one of the top baby faces of this whole season has been Trill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe the entrance is like a little bit like kind of in between, but when he gets in there, like he's such a baby face. Like he has the fire, looks at the crowd, like he's selling, gets sympathy from the people because he's not that big, but he works so well with that, with his high flying style. And it's really funny because they actually called him like Trillardy. Trillardy. And well, when it comes to his opponent, BJ Ray.
I don't know. This whole thing, because the way they position this conversation between BJ and Bubba is that BJ was griping to Bubba in that he wanted to be a heel, and that Bubba had already agreed and already booked him in a match with Trill. And Bubba's basically saying, so you're here complaining to me because you want to be a heel, but you're booked as a heel tonight against Trill, and he's what? The face. So you're talking to me about what you want when I've given you exactly what you want. Which, by the way, something nice about BJ, it was his mother's birthday, I believe today. Today is August 27th. His mother looks great, age appropriate for us. So happy birthday, Mama Ryan. You poor, brave, patient woman who actually looked happy. So good for you. But yeah, so BJ gets what he wants. Trill is still dystopian. I had to get that in because he still has the hockey mask on and whatnot. But just like Tatyanna, maybe I'm just old. And this is a question, Lou, am I just old and out of touch? Or is this how a face can enter these days? It just doesn't matter anymore. I'm just stuck in, if you come in looking spooky and crawling around like you're an insect, like you're out of The Conjuring or whatever, or Hereditary, I think that you're a bad guy, and I just need to get that out of my head.
It's just sometimes they have a gimmick where they have kind of something cool, like for some reason, I'm thinking Aleister Black right now, but I mean, he's a heel at this moment, but at one point he was a face.
Sure.
Or even The Undertaker. Undertaker has a look that screams heel,
yeah.
But then he was so different from everybody else that the crowd kind of turned him into a babyface, which he pretty much stayed besides like the Ministry. After that, like he was pretty much a face his old career. I think there was also a part where the American Badass might have been a heel, but it's all like over a career of 30 years. It's not many years or even months of him being a heel. The beginning, but then it took only, if I remember correctly, he entered WWE on November 1990, and by 1992 he was kind of saving Miss Elizabeth from Jake Roberts and the Snake, and because people thought he was so cool that they kind of started to cheer for him anyway, and so I think they just had no other options than to turn him as a babyface, even if he had like a morbid kind of guy who puts people in the caskets. Like, you're like, this is bad. Like, who wants to be buried alive? Well, The Undertaker is cool doing it. So it might be kind of the same vibe thing.
Well, Rosemary gets it. The Fiend, sort of got cheated.
Yeah, exactly.
Thekla does the spider walk thing, and I think she's a face now. I'm not really sure, but okay, so I'm just old. Now, Trill was wearing all black also. I mean, is all black okay for a face to wear? I don't mean like trunks and boots, but like he was wearing like long sleeve shirt, long pants, everything all black. I mean, am I too much in, cowboy and Indian movies where the bad guy wears a black hat? Is that also, old hat, pun intended, that wearing all black doesn't make you a heel any longer?
Hey, Steve Austin was wearing all black and he was the most popular wrestler ever. I mean, personally, I like a baby face to have colors, to stand out, to shine, to be like completely different from the heel. But in this instance here, I mean, there's a guy who's the only different things he has now, and he's wearing a shirt that says Bubba. And the sad part is that when this match started, I had some hopes because they did the classic yay boo thing, And then BJ attacked him, and he was like trash talking between the moves. He was a little bit more aggressive, but then he wouldn't stay on him. He would do like, I always say it's really important what you do between the moves, but you kind of gotta, you have to show dominance before you actually get to the part where you just trash talk. Like your opponent has to be down to a point where it makes sense that you're just like talking crap and he's selling. But it's like he attacked him, barely touched him, left him there, blah, 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 blah. And you could hear him call the shots. And I was like, come on, man. And you know what? Jeremy Borash goes like, no, what you see is not a bushwhacker. It's BJ Ray. I was like,
Yeah,
I kind of feel bad for the bushwhackers.
Me too. This whole thing, BJ Ray came out the same, as you pointed out. The crowd is booing. Obviously, they told him to boo. I mean, because he came out exactly the same. He comes out the same when they cheer, and he even sat in the stands, jumps up, that does the Lambo leap thing. So that was completely manufactured. I typed, he's dressed like a putz, because he looked like a putz. He's got like, tight like mailman shorts on, sneakers, not even wrestling boots, white socks, and as you said, that same stupid, preppy shirt with his collar popped and it just has the word Bubba on it. I mean, it's like it's like the pizza boy is better dressed than him. This is like the pool boy.
Pizza boy has a gimmick at least.
This is like the towel kid at the beach club in 1982. I mean, this is terrible. And like, and somebody says, well, he's got heat. First of all, bullshit. They manufacture. It's like, oh, and the Undertaker goes, well, he's got heat with me. And like, I'm not even sure as to why he get the point. I'm just glad that he said it. I mean, he started arguing with the crowd. Good. I mean, that was the good part. And then the crowd cheers Trill. Again, I think they were set up to do so, but I think they cheer Trill anyway. BJ attacks with a low blow before the bell. BJ sucks chance. The low blow before the bell was about the only thing that BJ did. Actually, it's not true. He did a couple other things right. But for most of the match, he moves in slow motion. It's like people forget the doink could actually work, but I think the way people remember doink is that it's like me dressed up as an evil clown, like being a klutz, like 56 years old and can barely move. BJ works like that. He's terrible. He's in slow motion and he's clumsy and klutzy. He's in the wrong places. And I have a question for you, and that is, do you know why The Undertaker said he has heat with me just like right from jump? I don't disagree. I just want to know why.
No, I thought you could explain it to me from season 1, but apparently you didn't. Nothing happened, or something happened, but we don't know.
I'll shake your hand the day you earn the right to shake my hand.
Bro, it's not that deep, dog. When I first got here to this LFG or whatever's going on in this place, I reached out to Bubba to shake his hand. I felt completely disrespected. So Bubba, here's the reality. I'm not gonna sit here like one of these little soy boys with my tail tucked between my legs. Nah, bro, I ain't about that. I'm about showing respect.
That was really good.
Yes, sir.
Or if you're like a legit, I'm talking you're
yeah. Okay.
As if you had like some kind of legit issue with me. See, not only am I a successful professional wrestler, I'm a professional psychologist and poker player.
Look at you, Bubba, on your high horse. You're almost like
high horse. I'm in 2 Hall of Fames and I have more championships and you have shower time.
Oh, I'm glad that defines you, Bubba.
I'm glad that what you think is going to work for you, you're doing. So maybe you want to think about the attitude moving forward during this show.
All right, I'll chew on it.
Chew on it really good.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyone else?
Next. No, wait a minute.
Wait.
Hold on, bud.
Wait, come back.
Get back in here.
Well, then explain this to me, because they do a lockup, and the lockup was like a botched knee, and everyone goes, what was that? And then it turns into like a key, and now it's like Botch City, where they're trying, like neither one of them, like one trying to do like a reverse hold, like wrap around, and like they're completely on the wrong page. And Booker and Michelle just looked dazed and confused. What the hell was that?
Yeah, I was like, BJ was trying to put a little bit of heat with some, Trill had some hope spots here and there, but then he Trill goes on top, goes for a flip. BJ doesn't catch him. And the structure of the match was just weird. And here's the question. Was there any structure? Probably no. There was no comeback for the babyface. There's a way for a heel to, and I think I mentioned it last week, where there's a way for the heel to beat down the babyface to get so much sympathy that at the end, the babyface who's been down, who's, was fighting bad, but was not giving any big moves. And then like out of nowhere gets that, that pin out of nowhere. Like last week it was on Harlem, the kind of jackhammer into the small package 1-2. It's like, oh shit, like kind of quick. And then the heel is like pissed or whatever. But here, there was not enough heat put on Trill for me to have any sympathy for him. It was just kind of, them not even going back and forth. It was just a mess. And here's the funny thing too. Trill goes for the finish, does the famous Jeff Hardy swanton, 1, 2, 3, and BJ is up, not even fucking selling it, back at working the crowd. And I was like, what the fuck? He's like, the match was not set up well. It was confusing. It had no story within it. And I was like, well, if you can't be a heel with Trill, there's something wrong with you. Well, guess what? Guess what? There's something wrong with BJ. Because what the fuck was that? And the only thing I really liked and pop was his like kind of shoot wrestling takedown. That looked good. I'm like, why the fuck is he not working with this? Yeah. He has so many tools from his wrestling background. No, he's not using it because he wants to be cool and he's the guy that gets the chicks and he's fucking BJ Ray, sexy BJ Ray. The gimmick's not even sexy. I mean, what the fuck? I was like, no,
there's nothing sexy about that outfit. There's nothing sexy about the way he uses himself. He looks like a dork. And like if it's supposed to be irony, it's not working. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not sure that the match was set up poorly because I don't think we saw the match. I mean, we saw, I mean, Trill.
We saw something.
Yeah. I mean, they were good parts.
It took TV time. There was something.
I mean, most of it was Trill was flying around, and that was pretty good. At some point, BJ caught Trill and did a spine buster out of the air. That looked good. I mean, that was fine. BJ was yelling a lot, and the coaches were going, he talks too loud in the ring. That seems true, especially if you're not helping to get the match back on pace, which he clearly wasn't. Trill did a backflip off the top turnbuckle and missed BJ. And I'm honest, listen, I want to blame BJ for everything, but I'm honestly not sure. Was BJ in the wrong spot or did Trill just completely overshoot? Was his aim wrong? Because he sort of went off to BJ's right and it was sort of quick. So I mean, BJ could have gotten into another position, but he would have had to have done it pretty quickly for it to be safe. So I don't know who messed up there, and I don't know if you know either, but
I think BJ was too close to the corner, but did they talk before and did Trill tell him like, hey, you have to stand here because I'm going to flip? He's not flipping completely on him just to land on his head. So that's why he's a little bit on the side. So he lands more on his shoulders and kind of rolls with him. But yeah, the position was wrong. Or did Trill overshoot? But definitely, like I said, BJ didn't catch him.
Yeah, I mean, we see that flip every week where somebody basically, it's supposed to simulate that, you're landing on someone, your back is hitting something, but really your arm is sort of draping over their head and neck, and you're sort of breaking your fall
kind of
there.
It's almost like you're sitting on their shoulders.
Yeah.
So when they go back, your ass is not landing on them, but you're kind of leaning. So when you do it right and both fall together, it looks good.
Right. And
but
when you don't,
there was just like and
when it's that bad, you just pull a Samoa Joe and you walk the glove reps in and pretend that you did it on purpose.
I love this spot. Nope. And we go backstage, and apparently we hear that there was something that wasn't planned that happened, and there's like a commotion, and they want to fight, and it's like, and I was trying to go back on the match. I was like, I didn't see anything wrong, and then BJ's like, oh, he was like pushing, fighting, whatever. It's like, yeah, that's what a baby face has to do. Like, he can't die. Like, when you work on him, he has to push, fight back, kind of stay alive, like not getting beat up, like just waiting for his spot. So, and we see even like Trill having the conversation with Michelle's like, yeah, that's the babyface thing to do. And like BJ's upset and like,
well, Michelle told him to, and this, by the way, this was his crime. He threw 2 punches when BJ was expecting 1. So what? If he throws 6 punches, you're supposed to roll with it.
You know what? You don't count your fucking punches when you set up a match. He says like, I'm gonna punch you. There might have been like 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't, like, don't plan your match saying 1, 2, 3 matches. I'll put you in the corner and then I'll whip you. And then if you plan this much, for sure you're gonna get confused. It's too much to remember, and that you don't need just take the freaking hits and the shots and sell them. And when it's time for the spot, your partner's gonna say, okay, spine buster, whatever. Like, you don't count hits. What the fuck? If you do, I mean, I understand at the beginning, like, just so you don't lean forward or you move back and there's a punch coming and then you get punched for real and then you get injured. Like, I get that. But you should just be able to place yourself no matter where you're ready to get hit. And then you sell to your next spot or whatever.
Right. Isn't the art of working that you're able to adapt and
Yes.
roll with it? I mean, not every single spot is planned. And
No.
by the way, A, he wasn't potatoing him. B, he isn't Sheamus or Gunther. He's not kidding. He's not kidding you like, like he's the Juggernaut or something. He was doing pulled punches. I mean, he was doing wrestling punches. So I don't know what this guy was complaining about. 2 punches. Michelle told him to do it. He's like, I don't care. You're working with me, not Michelle. Well, Michelle's the coach, and
Michelle's the coach, and she wants the babyface to stay alive in the match, not just stay there and getting beat up, not trying to get out of it. It looks ridiculous when people do that. And she told him to do the right thing as a babyface. So yeah, I was like, what the fuck are you complaining about? Like, you have to count your hits. I was like, dude, like, you're supposed to stay open, wait for the fucking hits, sell them, register them, and then go to the next spot. Like, when he grabs your hand for a whip or whatever, you'll know the spot's coming. It's like, oh man, it's like ridiculous. It's like,
and you don't get to complain about 1 extra punch when you botched the entire match from
yeah,
the beginning.
Like,
I mean, you have no equity in that. Anyway, he says, well, if you ever throw 2 punches again, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And Trill's like, what? It's like,
I was like, what? This is the wrong business for you, my friend. I was like,
why are you waiting? If you want to beat the shit out of me, do it now. And then they did always do something. And they sort of did. And, and then you hear, nope. And actually, Harlem was one of the people jumped to break it up so he could score some points with me on that one. And I don't know who the coach is. I mean, I don't think it's Oni Lorcan, but it might be Oni Lorcan. But whoever it is, he's jacked. He basically looks like, a young version of Goldberg, but like,
I think that's one of the medical staff, like the massage therapist or something. Because Oni Lorcan, like, I know I've worked with Biff Busick, and I don't think it's unless he changed like a lot. I would have known it was him, but no, I think he's more. Yeah, I think it's. I say massage therapist, but it could be physiotherapist or something. Like, he's someone from the PC.
Whatever he's jacked, he just goes.
Looks
nope,
good.
And he goes, nope, and he goes right in there and stops it. But like, what was that whole thing about? Like, okay. We know how we were talking earlier that Harlem Lewis is projecting, and projecting is maybe a form of subconscious self-destruction without realizing you're Is this BJ Ray's version of, does he know that he's flopping and he can't admit that he's flopping, so he's doing things to convince himself that he's the alpha, but he knows that this is going to score him no points with the judges? It's like either his personality, like they're either going to pick him because people want to punch him in the face and boo him, or he's out, so he might as well be as bad as possible. I know I'm playing psychologist again, but wrestling is psychology, and ain't none of that either.
There's just one word that can describe this for me. It's like denial, denial, denial. Like he can't see. He can't see how bad he is, or I don't know if it's a form of protection that he's overconfident and inside he's like that little insecure guy. I don't know if it's a way to get through life, to be so cocky and yeah, I'm good, whatever. Is like, dude, you're not. Yeah. It's to the point where I'm like, okay, when do people get eliminated? Because like there's a few that I can't stand anymore.
It has to start. I mean, obviously it's going to start soon. We're in my week 9, and I think it's only a 12-week series. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, it's going to be soon. All right. Well, speaking of denial, somebody who's been lost in the desert, or maybe an island in the middle of the Nile, is Chris Island. Because I have not seen this guy. I feel like I haven't seen him in 6 weeks. He comes out against Drake Morreau, who I know we've seen recently, but I feel like I haven't seen him in a while. I feel like I haven't missed him. Chris is in karate gear again. Okay. I mean, but he's not working karate. He's working more MMA. So like, shouldn't he have like more of an MMA outfit?
But he had a black belt this time. At least it was not a white belt. So there's that.
True. He's definitely better as a heel. He was definitely working the right arm. This is pretty good, and at a certain point, it just got boring. And Taker and Book at some point say they went from selling the easiest thing possible to selling the hardest thing. What they were talking about is like they were on the outside, and Chris Island did an Irish whip to Drake Morreau from like basically where the commentators, like the far end of it, where Borash would be sitting in his corner, to the far post. So it was basically like a 15-foot run. I mean, the average whip is...
You know, when I say a whip can look bad if you don't push, if you're not close, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You clearly see the guy running by himself. It looks stupid. And it's a shame because this match, like, to me, like, started, like you said, so good. The lockup was incredible. The only thing I didn't like at the beginning, like there was that like the arm bar and they were going around. It kind of looked a little bit confusing because usually you try to look more solid, and you have the guy really like trying to go to one rope and then trying to grab the other one to get out of it. They were just like going around. So as like, it didn't look like someone trying to escape like a hold, like it almost looked like a dance. I was like, that's not cool. But then Drake got into some very good forearm, his whips, chest to chest. Finally, I was like, yes, good whips. Chris's work on the arm, like he was staying on it. He was using the ropes. He was using the posts. He was applying hold. You even had the crowd going tap, tap, tap. And you know, Drake grabbed him for a powerbomb that he kind of switched into the Hellgate. It was not really a Hellgate, but kind of looked like it, like another old. And, you know, going back to the arm, Drake was selling the arm. Like even when he had his over, every time he hit it, it was like grabbing his arm, like nothing like Xena out of nowhere for no reason. Drake was actually selling it. So all this like was super good. But then, yeah, it went from this to whatever, and then chokeslam 1 2 3, which was like, I was like, because it was a good match. There was a story about, you know, the MMA guy working the one limb to kind of, you know, working his gimmick. He's an MMA guy. When I see him, you know, dressed with the karate pants and stuff, I think of Georges St. Pierre, GSP. Like he was coming out with his karate gear and everything, but he still like has a background in jiu-jitsu, and he's a very good, you know, boxer as well. So he was complete. That's why he was such a great, like, you know, UFC fighter. So that could work for Chris if he works with that. Like he should really look at somebody like Georges St. Pierre to have some inspiration about the character. But yeah, like you said, it was like this match like was good. And then at the end, I was like, huh? What the fuck? What? Huh? Like, but I mean, overall, I liked the match. I liked the story. It made sense. Drake was very solid here. But, who was the heel? Who was the face? I mean, because Chris was working the arm a little bit more, jaw jacking a little bit. It's like, I feel he's the heel. And with Drake like selling more and, the bump and feed and him being intense, I was like, yeah, he's more of a face. But I felt like there was no definite characters. They're close. They have something, but I feel they need to push it more so we actually understand what's going on. Like he's a guy from the Bayou, but there's something missing. You can't say you're from the Bayou because you have like shredded pants and like you come out to a music that sounds like something that comes from New Orleans. There needs to be more. There's something there. There's a gimmick, but push. You need to push it because it's like, it's for both of them. It's like there's a little bit of it, but it's far from what it could be.
Well, I didn't have any problem with who the face and the heel was in this match. I think just Chris is so much smaller that but I thought that was okay. Actually, I think for the most part, Drake Morreau was mostly fine in this match. I think if he suffered from anything, was going along with things that were kind of doofy. I mean, I very much like that Drake went for the choke slam the first time, but because his arm strength wasn't there, he couldn't get it all the way. And Chris Island turned it into an armbar for a submission effort. And, and then Drake got out of it. For whatever reason, Island, like you said, he was working an MMA grounded style, which I think works for him. Like, he wasn't showing attitude. That's why he didn't fit. Like, he was bland. So if he acted heely, not just wrestling heely, I mean, there's nothing inherently heely about wrestling technical style. It's just that it's a little bit, one-dimensional, two-dimensional, but so a little bit of scowling faces, taunting the crowd. You're technical in the ring, but you're a jerk. You're like Gunther. You're pompous. He wasn't really, his body language and his facial expressions weren't there. But the biggest issue is, instead of just continuing that, at some point he decides to go to the top turnbuckle for some sort of backflip for a finisher. And of course, Drake Maverick would have been something Drake Maverick was there. Drake Morreau,
different size.
Drake catches him for a choke slam. And like you said, okay, this time he get with the momentum and the bounce off from the mat, he was able to do the choke slam and get a 3 count. But honestly, I would have liked to have seen him realize that his arm wasn't working and caught him with the big boot coming down, and that would reward, and then that story is that Chris got overconfident because he thought the guy couldn't use his arms. He couldn't, the guy, or at least I can retrofit the story into that. Anyway, that just, so it just struck me as dopey. The pinfall was awkward also in that Chris was squirming a lot during the feud instead of just taking the fall, and his shoulders weren't down for a 3 count. I mean, it's like if this was an important match, this would have been the thing where later on at the telestrator, they show you that his shoulders were up 1 and 2, like both his right and left.
Like Orton and Gunther.
Exactly. And this would be the basis for a rematch or something like that. But there was no reason for that. So the whole thing felt really meh to me. And then Bubba and Taker basically say the same thing. They basically look at each other and go, I really want some reason for these guys to be over with me. And both of them are like, and I look at them and I'm just like, yeah, I once read a book and I liked the book, but I didn't like it that much because in there was a great book and I didn't read a great book, but there's a great book. There was a match there. There was a story there. Both these guys are talented, but they're not main roster talented. They're not NXT talented. They're not TNA talented. They probably need to go on the indies and work a whole bunch of things. I mean,
figure out who they are.
Drake is obviously closer because he only needs to have 6 moves and he can do the party guy, big, the big fun guy. That's, Hillbilly Jim, just, not as, goofy. Chris, something's there. He just has to believe in himself and translate it to his face and his body.
I think he needs to watch technical wrestlers work. I'm thinking like Kurt Angle. Technically, he had so much personality, being like a shoot Olympic, gold medalist.
Steven Regal, Steve Blackman, Kent Shamrock, Gunther,
Yeah, there's
El Grande Americano, or El Grande Americano, or El Grande Americano.
which one? The one who speaks actual Spanish?
You mean there's one? Name which one? It's one person.
Kaiser has been like shooting promos in Spanish, and he's so over in Mexico. It's crazy.
I have no idea what you're talking.
Life changing.
I think it's this. I just think it's a trick of light and different microphones that you're hearing. There's only one El Grande Americano, clearly.
Clearly.
Yes, claro. Yeah,
That's what Wade Barrett says. So we'll believe it.
Well, Wade is a brilliant man and one of the greatest commentators out there. So now we get Taker and Danny Sikelski's little session, and basically, I like this. This is Undertaker's going. He's like, be the dog, get the dog out, get the dog.
Be pissed and aggressive.
I'm like, I was listening to like mid '90s, early aughts, like from the the Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, rappers. Be the dog, get the dog.
It was almost like the Mickey Rocky High of the Tiger speech.
He's like, I want you to be so aggressive that I have to tell you to dial it back. I need to dial back. I need to forget how small you are. And then, Haze also gets a session where she tells us, hey, I'm still here and I intend to kick ass. And we get Haze versus Dani. And since I spoiled it early, to me, this was the only good match of the night. And I'm going to let you take it from here.
Well, first of all, I really popped when Ace came out. It's like, again, people stink. I was like, and she's annoying. She's screaming. She's loud. I love this new character of Ace. She's a standout heel for me. Dani comes out, super baby face. Like, it's clear right from the start who's the heel, who's the face.
The judge and then yelling, she's drunk. Get the drunk house. It's like the female Sandman. We should just have a drinking beer.
The female Sandman.
Taker yells, he yells, beat her drunk ass. That was great.
Yeah, beat her drunk ass. I was like, it's great. And I think Bubba goes like, you know what? We should do a thing where she has to take an alcohol test before she gets in the ring. I'm like, oh my God. Like, this gimmick, like, the ideas are like endless. There's so many things to do.
The gorilla position door will not open for her until she takes the ignition interlock test and blows under a 408.
That would be great that she has to go to a match and she's cutting a promo when she goes in her car doesn't start. It's like, goddamn. And then she has to blow in the thing and she forgot. That would be
you
so
could never
good.
do it today, which is the same, but she goes out there for her match and she blows like a 0.110. They go, no. And then like 30 minutes she comes back and she blows like 0.07. They're like, okay.
Yeah, she goes in the sauna and try to sweat.
Drinking water and Gatorade. You see her go into the women's room a couple times during it. Oh
my God.
And like her opponent is like, come on, I was ready. I'm cramping up. Or
yeah, opponent's like sleeping in a corner. Yeah, it's like endless things you could do with Dani. And Ace. And that made me so happy because they start the match and they go around and they circle when their ends up. And I'll share a secret.
Okay.
I hate this fucking thing. There's a lot of people they've been doing that at the Performance Center, and I've seen it quite often on the indies lately, where they have their hands like they're about to go into a boxing match, but it looks so fake. And I'm like, if you were in the fight, you wouldn't be standing like this, like arms in front, like a boxer, but it doesn't look as cool because I fucking hate it. I was like, and Taker goes like, a circle with their hands up. I don't like it. I was like, oh my God, Taker feels the same way. Oh God, thank you, Lord Undertaker. I was like, I hate this shit.
Well,
and they're doing it, and I just wanted to say how happy I was when Undertaker, one of my idols, like.
Yeah, but
he hated too.
but he should hate it, especially in this, because he wanted Dani to be a dog, so she should have come out, attacking. I get it for Haze, because she's a heel, and she's sort of a chicken, even though she wasn't really the chicken to Chelsea heel. She was more like her drunk party girl before, but a little bit more. She sort of morphed the two characters, which is good. But she doesn't really want to wrestle. She wants to wrestle dirty, so she's sizing people up. She's delaying.
Since Dani's the baby face, you don't have her attack Ace. You could have A's running towards her to attack, but Dani moves, boom, and then bam, 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 starts fighting like really like aggressively. Like that's the way for the baby face to take over first without being the one who attacks.
Or do what they did there, what Summit did earlier. Haze is like, going like she's going to go at her. Dani can't. The ref is sort of, way down. I haven't ring the bell. Haze goes into the ropes. Dani's trying to go after her. The ref is breaking up, and then Haze comes in and clobbers her, and then Dani, comes.
Yeah.
It's easy to do, but I have to be honest. During this match, and I'm not going to break down. You break down, but I thought that Haze was the one showing the dog. She was more Victoria than Chelsea Green.
Well, I'll talk about it more when we get to the winners. But yeah, for this match, I'm like, A's right from the lockup, she was dirty right away. She was cheating. Dani's little shine at the beginning was solid. She was aggressive. A's always cheated to take over the match. She used the ring. She took time to acknowledge the crowd. And she would get like super mad when Dani was fighting back, which is like, yes, like everything like a heel should do, like especially like a little fucking heel that you're pissed off at and that you want to aid is like you just want to punch her because like everything she does. And she did a great job. Dani did some little hopes here and there with the fight back. And Dani was always like, Ace was always cutting dirty. Dani had good punches, good forearms, and actual like the whole trading part, like both of them look really, really good. Everything looks strong. There was not like both of them, like Ace and Dani, the back and forth with the forearms, everything. It looked solid, looked great. The bump and feed was a little awkward from the A's. Like some of her bumps were not like super crisp, but I was like, you know what? She's a drunk fucking kind of character. I'm okay if she falls like and it's awkward. It adds to the characters. Like I'm fine with that. Like it doesn't need to be pretty. And here's one thing that they kept doing, and I don't know why they do that, and I fucking hate it. They will pull their opponent by the arm and for Irish whip, and they will kind of stump the match with both feet. And it looks bad. It looks fake. They actually look really small doing that instead of grabbing and pushing and pushing in the rope, pushing, the back into the ropes. So there's that bounce. It's just like pulling the arm with that stump. It's like, if you want me to forget about your size, don't do it, because now the little pump you do with your feet tells me you're 100 pounds. It doesn't look good. I don't know why they do that. It's like, and they're not the first ones that I see doing that for the girls. And I was like, fuck. I was like, One part that was like, when we're going into the go home spot at the end, there's a corner flip into the drop toe hold, but I think A's ran a little bit too slow, so it didn't look really super good. And then again, they went for that freaking whip where they pull and stomp, and then they went into the DDT 1, 2, 3, and I was like, that whip was not necessary. It shouldn't be there. The thing to do was to have Dani do the flip. Ace comes in running, drop toe hole, sells her face, sells around, and, comes into Dani, boom, for the DDT right away. 1, 2, 3. She didn't need to, I don't know why, when she took the drop toe hold, she turned around into a whip, kind of into a DDT. No, she should have sell the drop to a hole, sell her face good, like she really hit the mat, and then turn around into the DDT right away. So it's like 2 shots right on the face, right on the head, back to back, and that's why she spinned. So that was the only thing at the end. I was like, but I think it was a very, very, very good match until the go home spots where I thought it was too much, and those pull whips. Yeah, my God, it looks bad. I like remove that. It's fucking great.
So Dani was an NFL cheerleader. She's obviously very agile. She's very athletic. She's strong. She has terrific footwork. She's also very small. I think that she's talented enough and athletic enough and precise enough that she could do. I mean, you know how sometimes you would see like Ray Phoenix, he do like 8 different moves just to do an arm drag. And I would always laugh, you doing an 8-point arm drag. But I think that
It's Mexican wrestling.
exactly.
Arm drags.
Like, I think that she could do something where she does a rather simple move. I mean, you know how Jacob Fatu and Trinity and I'm sorry, Naomi and Tiffany Stratton, basically they just do a moonsault, but it's interesting how they get to the moonsault. I think that Dani could do something where she hops and bumps around to the top turnbuckle or the top rope and just does a bulldog from it, or one of those moves where you jump from behind, you have your hand on their head and your knees on their back, and it's like you're driving their face into the mat. And that way, even if you are only 85 pounds, it's still going to hurt the person. And
like a blockbuster or something. Yeah.
yeah. So I think she needs a different finisher. I agree that the paradigm, or Drew McIntyre's and John Moxley's DDT that doesn't work for the girl who weighs the same as my leg. That said, the one thing I saw, and I don't know what happened, is apparently at some point Haze was supposed to dump Dani out of the ring. I guess they sort of missed each other, and Dani basically tossed herself out of the ring.
Yeah.
The judges said so. I mean, is that something where it was someone's fault? Is that the right thing? Like, the spot was missed, but that's the match. You go out of the ring anyway, and you just go from there. We see that happen all the time. Someone misses it, but someone misses the kick by 6 inches, but you still sell it. And then Corey Graves says, "Well, I don't think they got all of it." I mean, was that the wrong thing? Whose fault was it? It was really.
It's really hard to say whose fault was it, not knowing what the actual spot was or what they were going for, or was there supposed to be a whip reversed, or I don't know, something. I don't know. Somebody misses something, and the other one shit cans themselves. Like, I don't know what it was, so it's really hard to tell. It didn't bother me that much because it felt to me like Ace just kind of moved out of the way, and so Dani kind of shit canned herself. So it didn't bother me. I was like, it didn't affect the match in a way where it didn't affect the match a way like the BJ wrestling did. Like, it was something minor that, fans probably do not care about.
Y'all just didn't say anything. I don't.
Yeah, no.
Notice it. Because that happens all the time. All right, well, that's fine. I'm glad you agree with that. I mean, one other thing, Dani did like a shoulder tackle. It was really weak shoulder tackle. Other than that, I mean, the finisher was underwhelming, but the match was. My only comment with the match is, my question was, where's Dani's dog? Because I see Haze's drunk dog out there. I see that drunk pit bull out there. It's like a 3-legged pit bull, and it wants to fight every other dog in the yard. Dani was fine. Dani was Dani. She was good. I mean,
here's the thing with Dani. She has the moves are aggressive, but she forgot to tell her face. There's no sound coming out of her mouth. There's no like really mean face. Like, it's like she's not selling her own moves. Like, there has to be some life into what you do. Your hits might look like $1 million, and they're like super aggressive, they're clean, like they actually make a sound, like everything is there, but it's like you yourself, you're not going like ugh, or like something that tells me that you're pissed, you're into this match. Like, the face needs to sell whatever. Selling is not, it's not just about, showing pain when somebody's doing a move to you. It's also selling what you're doing. You need to tell people, like, here, I'm aggressive, I'm pissed, you got to show it in the face. Everything happens like in the face. The face has to, it's really it's what paints the picture. It tells people your emotions, and if you're not selling your own moves, and that's where I think she's lacking, like you said, A's like kept screaming and like making those freaking faces and stuff. So it was like that's why honestly, like we get to the judges and they actually start with the women. And they're like, here was my choice. I was like, tonight my winner was A's because she made Dani look good. She was such a great heel in everything she did. There might have been some like missteps, a little bit, like I said, like questionable bumps and, little things. But she did such a great job at making the baby face look good that to me, she was the only choice. And of course, like they picked Dani, which is not a bad choice, but without A's, this match doesn't work the way it did. So I was like, I was kind of disappointed for her because to me, she was the winner.
Yeah. I mean, to me, there was only one loser, Tatyanna. I think Summer did her job.
Yeah.
I think Dani did her. Well, actually, that's not true. First of all, I agree with you. I was dumbfounded that this was not 4 votes for Haze. I mean,
yeah.
Unless Dani just doesn't have a point and they want to get her a point to make sure she makes it to the at least the semifinals, for whatever reason or reasons, and I'm okay with that. But Haze to me was the clear winner. Dani was fine. She was fine, but I said before she got the job done, then I caught myself. She didn't. Her job was to show the dog Little Evil, and she didn't. She was just Dani again, and Dani's good, but her job was to be Haze. Haze showed me a dog. I mean,
yeah.
And Summer did her job. Tatyanna was terrible. I mean, she had rust to whatever skill level she had achieved before her undisclosed mysterious injury, which is, as far as I'm concerned now, is probably like her feelings were hurt. I don't know. But yeah, I felt the same as you. And then we get to the males, and it was a straight flush. Everyone voted for Trill, and you know what? The only other person who maybe had a case was Drake, but he was
Drake was my choice because every little thing he did looked good. The whips, the hits, his selling, kept on selling like the story of the match with his arm. He was vocal. But I mean, I understand Trill was, overall, like, let's forget about BJ. Like, he was a good baby face. He worked the crowd. He sold. But the thing is, he didn't have much to sell because this match was so like, ugh. So I was like, okay, I get that they finally give him a point because he is a good baby face. And there's other episodes where I feel he should have won, but did not. So I was like, yeah, maybe they're trying to make things right because he is a great baby face, then you should have a point somewhere. But I don't feel today was the day. To me, Drake was the best man of this episode.
Obviously, I can see it, but I actually agree with Trill. I mean, not only did he do his job and look good, but he actually overcame BJ.
Yeah, maybe for that he deserves
uninspiring
to win.
As uninteresting as Chris was, he's not bad. It's, I mean, he's a rookie. He needs work, but it's not like working with him is a detriment, or at least that I can see. So, I mean, Trill overcame a lot, and I don't know. So I was okay with that, which is fine. We have like a minor disagreement of degree here, if at all. So Michelle still leads the field with 6 points. Taker behind her with 5. Booker 3, and Bubba falling behind there with 2. Now, we haven't really taken note of the points for the contestants, but probably matters now because we're getting to the point where there's going to be eliminations. Pranina has 4 points already. She's already going to make it to whatever the semifinals are. I mean, she's already got enough points unless she gets hurt. Again, no mention of, with the injury to Elijah, if we're getting another contestant. I don't remember when in the season BJ got hurt last year that they needed to do a replacement. They didn't do a replacement for Tatyanna. Maybe they knew she was never really injured. I don't know. But, but we have to start watching this. So the rest of the points are spread around the women. There's about 4 of them that have 2 points and the rest have 1. Shiloh and Elijah are tied in the league for the men with 2 each, but Elijah is now essentially eliminated. He's on the shelf. So All the other men have 1 point. Everyone else. I don't know how the math works out with that, but that's the way it happens. Well, I guess Panina has 4 points. Then maybe 2 of the women have 2 points, and one of them has 1, or maybe none. I don't know. But 4 points for Panina was the struck out. Trill was very pleased with himself. He was happy. He's like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have a good time. Cool. I had Lou Your Thoughts Haze was my winner, but we already talked about that. Now I'm married to my thing. Dani, we sort of phase out with Dani being the last person in the gym. Harlem might have been in the parking lot being angry at the interview people and the cameraman and the security guard and the lights, but Dani was in there working the heavy bag, and Dani realizes that she's a tough bitch. And listen, I'm not saying she's not. We sing the praises of Dani every single week. In fact, I said that to Dani, said it. We were on X, and she liked it. She saw it. As a matter of fact, I'm sure for the same reason I'm sure earlier that we are actually Dani Sikowski, Summer Sorrell, and Haze Jameson's favorite podcast. I'm pretty sure we're BJ Ray's favorite podcast too. But I agree that she's a tough bitch, but not the tough bitch that Undertaker wanted to show us. This is going to date myself, but he wanted us to see Mick Belker from Hill Street Blues or Gary Howitt from the 1970s New York Islanders. He wanted to see something a little bit more constrained than the Raja Jackson this weekend, and she
oh my God, yeah,
she gave us Dani. So okay, she now believes that she's tough and good for her. Like her, I think she's got a whole lot of.
You know what? Dani understands the aggression Taker's is talking about, and hitting the heavy bag and whatnot. She gets that part, but here's what I wrote down. Yes, you understand that part, but you still need to sell it and tell it to your face. That's it. The movement is there, the selling and making me believe that you are that bitch is not. Make me believe that you are that bitch. Because right now it's okay, good hits, whatever, but it's
Isn't that what they mean when they say tell the story in the ring? I mean, that's your
you
face.
tell a story with your face.
Yeah,
and
that's what they always tell
she's not so far.
Yeah, they say keep the hair out of the face, keep your arms off of their face. I mean, unless your finisher is the claw. But yeah. So next week they showed us a little bit of what was going on, and it just looked like there's supposed to be a lot of chaos next week. So okay, that's pretty.
Yeah, what's up with Xena? And we're gonna see a little more about Charlo and Harlem. It looks like they went into a shoot. So we'll see how that goes, because last time there was a shoot, suddenly it was okay. So everybody's cool, and that was the end of it. We'll see how that goes for this one. And for this episode, I just want to end on what Dani said at the end. She's like, I got to bring the little evil in me. So big evil, little evil. That's kind of cool with her coach. So I'll take her. So
let's see it, because again,
let's see it. Yeah, I wanna. I hear it. I feel it with the hits and stuff, but I don't believe it because I don't see it on your face.
You know who I would.
That's what I'm looking for.
You know who I would love for her to consult with, and they won't because he works for a different company, but he's up there, not too far from you. Jimmy Jacobs, small guy, work like the devil. Yeah, little evil. There's your guy right there, Jimmy Jacobs, very smart guy. By the way, he was one of the guests on Book of Black, which is also known just as a name change Gospel of Thomas. So you can hear Jimmy Jacobs talking about esoteric stuff with me and PJ Black on that. So cheap plug. Speaking of cheap plugs, Lufisto, tell everyone where they can find you and all about your wrestling promotion, all the great and exciting things that you're doing.
Yes. You can find me on X at Lufisto, Instagram, although I would say right now there's more picture about cats than anything. This week I posted a picture of me and Ray Rougeau that I saw this week at a TV taping thing. But besides that, it's been kind of dead. But it's Lufisto at Arts and Wrestling. Facebook.com/Lufisto. You can follow also the Women's Wrestling Syndicate on Facebook. On X, it's WWS WW Syndicate altogether. But subscribe, like our stuff on YouTube. We got videos of all kinds, all the archives that I collected throughout the years of wrestling in Quebec and more I put everything there and are on shows for free.
That's great. All right. Well, let's see. My shows are called Garden of Thought. They come in 3 varieties, but you only have to subscribe to a Garden of Thought and you'll get them all. They're all free. There's no Patreon. There's no nothing. You can find them right here on the Wrestling Soup Network. They might be going on the Wrestling Soup YouTube channel. I mean, I'm not sure when that's going to happen. I think it's a when, not an if. You know, it's not video, it's audio, just like everything else that's on the Soup channel. Though I do have most of the videos if they want them. Anyway, 3 varieties. 2, sort of like Joe Rogan, without the broness, without the conspiracy, without the celebrity, without the success, but same kind of variety. And of course, the show I do with Mr. Thomas, we talk to people in wrestling, oftentimes not about wrestling, or at least it's not entirely devoted to wrestling. And actually, Thomas is away this month, taking fabulous trips to South America and Miami and Cancun and this, that, and the other thing. So Vinny Pacifico was a guest co-host, and we had Zeke the Freak on, and then Carol Kwan was a guest co-host, and we had the victorious BRG, Brett Ryan Goslin. That show dropped earlier this week, and Kwan's working on some things. I'm working on some things. Big Trouble Ben Bishop has agreed to be a guest co-host because he's already been a guest, but I need to find a guest. I've been unsuccessful in that. So listen, if you're a wrestler out there and you're willing to be a guest, do me a solid. Ben's a cool guy. He's fun. He's killing the internet right now, doing his shindy stuff. And of course, I still do a dose of chocolate. The last few weeks, it hasn't quite made it to the Wrestling Soup and Friendos feed, maybe on the Wrestling Soup YouTube channel one day. But I don't care. I do them live, basically right after Soup goes off the air. I take over the stage and do a dose of chocolate, and I review the Evolve show. The last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been solo. And you know what's good about it being solo? They're quick. They're basically 30 or 40 minutes tops. But if someone
That's quick for Jeff.
it's good. It's good for everybody. So yeah, listen, I don't know what else in the world there is to talk about with me. You can follow me on the X at dose_evil. I call myself Evil Dose, but apparently I'm Dose Evil. I'm confused. I'm like Tatyanna. I got lost early on and never got my way. So until next week, what are we going to do, LaFista?
Well, next week, it's going to be episode 10 already. 10. What's going to happen? A shoot. That won't be a shoot. Or will Xena find her way or rest on her laurels? And what's going to happen with BJ? Another memorable match, I believe. Oh, Lord. Oh, until next week, this has been Boil Them, Fry Them, Put Them in a Stew.
Potato.
Follow Wrestling Soup on Twitter at Wrestling Soup. Like and subscribe to Wrestling Soup on YouTube, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify. With Smilsa.